Hey there everybody. Alright, well today we're going to have our second video in the flashback series, and today we're going to go back and we're going to talk about how we had to prepare the land and all the things we had to consider when doing that. So I'm excited to share it with you, and without further ado, let's get started. Okay, so it's late April, lots of water still on the ground, and we're looking south to the excavation area from the pasture. So we got to get out there and put some flags down and figure out where we need to do excavation at. This is looking to the north, and what we're seeing is that from right to left there's actually a hump, and we're going to have to move dirt from the right over to the left in order to make everything nice and flat. So lots of dirt that needs to be moved. Here we're looking to the west, same picture. Now I actually called two different excavators to see if they could do this. I thought it would be really easy to get a D9 cat, come in, take care of it, have some fun. Sadly, I was wrong. They wanted, the lowest bid I got was $5,000, and that would have taken a huge chunk of our budget for the year just to make it flat. So we're going to have to end up doing this ourselves. Here we see the first corner flag put down, and now we're looking to the north. Again, that same right to left, you can see that there's a slight hump there that needs to be flattened. It also tilts down this way from south to north, so going to be some tiering that we need to be putting in place. Here we have our first delivery. This is the racking system for the grow lanes, and we're going to get it all put in place. I wanted to see how big it was, make sure I knew all my measurements exactly before I started excavating. And this is the quality control team. You'll notice that they're inspecting the delivery of the digester. I bought the digester as a kit, that's what it is, and then we have to put it all together and pour the cement. So Puxin, P-U-X-I-N, from China. Here's everything laid out right next to the excavation area. So we got all of our major components here, the rack system and the digester. And of course my auger tipped over there. We're going to need that auger. There's nothing like big boy toys. You know, the older you get, the more you still like to play with your Tonka toys. So here's my truck pulling a tractor. Again, I couldn't afford to have an excavator, so a good friend of mine let me borrow his tractor. It's a Kubota. It's the wrong color, but it is a darn good tractor, and I was very, very happy that he allowed us to borrow it. So we loaded it up. It's got the backhoe attachment on it, quick disconnect. That is a slick system. If you can get one of those, get one. I would love to have this tractor. In the front there, right in front of it, is the box blade. It's a scraper blade, and we're going to be using that. It has big teeth in it that are going to dig into the ground, kind of like a bulldozer, only you pull it behind. So this is a 56 horsepower tractor. So here we are. We've got our excavations actually started, kind of that same picture that we first started this video with, but just now it's dry. This is early summer, late spring. Yeah, oh my goodness, just bringing back so many memories. It was like 3 days of going back and forth, and by 3 days I mean 3 full days. I actually had to take time off of work to work just to get this all done. Yeah, here we go. Now you can kind of see the tiering that's starting to happen from the south side on the left-hand side of the screen. That's that corner flag I showed you. And we're getting dirt moved and starting to get it all flat. Oh man, that was a lot of work. Yeah, 10 vertical feet of dirt that had to get moved and filled. So this is kind of looking from the south to the north here, and you can see that berm starting to be built. Lots of dirt. That took a long time. I never thought I was going to finish. Yeah, this is looking from the north to the south at the same picture. Man, that was so much dirt that had to get filled in there. Yeah, that was a lot of back and forth. I was so happy when I finally got it filled in. Here we go again. So I was concerned about, that's a lot of fill, so we needed to make sure that we actually compacted it all down. So I did go and rent a rolling, vibrating compactor. There it is on the truck right there. Again, Tonka toys, man. It's so cool to use your truck to finally pull heavy equipment around. It makes you feel very manly. So, yeah, that thing was fun to drive. You get up there and it pretty much shakes you pretty good. It shakes, back and forth. It has a really good vibrating drum on it and quite a bit of weight. So I ran that back and forth a whole lot. to make sure everything was really pressed down, and it did. It pressed it down really well. So here you kind of see everything starting to get finalized. You can see all the tracks when I was driving around. I think it took me 2 days of driving around on that thing to make sure everything was really well compacted down. Once I got everything compacted down, it was time to start digging the fish lanes. So here we've got the tractor with the backhoe attachment on it now instead of the box scraper, and digging the lanes. I used just marking twine and then pulled the backhoe along that to keep the lanes nice and straight. These are the fish tanks that are going in the ground. If you'd like to check out why the fish tanks are in the ground, go watch some of our earlier videos, the first in the flashback series on the experiment we did. You can see that we need them down in the ground so that gravity can take the water down. Also, it helps keep the water temperature right around 50 degrees Fahrenheit. So that was a key reason why we put them in the ground. Also, it takes less space. And we have a requirement to make 1 square foot of land worth 2. So we don't want to have a bunch of barrels and stuff all around. Here we're seeing the marking flags for the solar panels. That's where we need to drill all the post holes. Oh my goodness, this darn rock. You know how disappointing it is to go through and dig all of this and then have a giant immovable rock? And you can't dig around the outside of it because you'll ruin the integrity of the dirt and you won't be able to put it all back together. So we're going to see a video in the future where I have to take a jackhammer and take that thing apart. Here's another QC moment. The dog is inspecting the post holes for the solar panels, making sure everything is good to go there. Oh yeah, this was another fun one too. Yeah, they didn't do a great job of telling me the dimensions of the building boxes. The building is inside of those 2 boxes. So I get all the way down to the port and I have to load this thing, and I'm like, oh my goodness, how am I going to fit this all in the truck? So we did that, and yeah, that ended up popping some tires. The trailer buckled a little bit, definitely overloaded it, but we made it home safely. Big mistake there. We won't do that again. So here's just everything out, and now we got our post cut for the solar panels and putting them in. So quite a bit of work to get this far. So yeah, that was a whole lot of work to get all the excavation done. Like I said, we got 2 bids in to excavate. One was $5,000, another was like $8,500. And I was shocked. I didn't understand why it would be so high. And after doing all this, I do understand why it's so high. And I really appreciate what an excavation company, the skills that they have, and patience and tools that they have. So some mistakes that we made here, there's really 2 big ones. Actually, it's just really one big mistake, and that has to do with crowning. And I'm not a civil engineer, and I really appreciate the civil engineers now. After we got the building all put in place, it became very apparent that I was excellent using a laser leveler. So what I mean by that is when I actually was doing all the excavation, I went and rented a laser level to make sure that everything that I did was actually level. And believe it or not, I got it almost perfectly level. And the reason I figured it out, besides the laser level telling me that, is we had our first big rainstorm after I got the building and solar and everything in. And for the beginning of winter, it was huge rainstorm just coming down in buckets. I came home from work, my other job, and there was about an inch of standing water all over the place. And I was like, oh, well, it's level. But it wasn't supposed to be perfectly level, now was it? No, I should have put a crown, meaning that if this is level, what I should have done is had a crown where, like a football field, it drains off. Just a subtle, probably 1 foot total across I think it's almost 150 feet wide. If I would have just dropped it about a foot in elevation from the center to the sides, gradually we would have really nice drainage. So you're going to see in a future video where we did have to put in a drainage control system in order to deal with this. But it was a big lesson learned. We do have everything is excavated so that we could put in Habitat 1, which you're looking at now, and then which is our first prototype, and then Habitat 2 will go right next to it to the east. So that will be our second prototype that we put in that will have all the lessons learned from the first one. We're excited to get that going. That's what we call phase 4. So, hey, thanks for watching. If you like this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe. This is The Real Martian. God bless you. Take care.